So Colin, if I asked you to pick one car for the whole world that is easy to use for your grandfather, good for the car enthusiast, great and reliable and safe for the first time driver, that comes with all the modern tech that you find in new cars, what one would you pick?
Probably the Honda Civic.
Like that one?
Yeah, looks about right.
Yeah, so here it is, the 2022 Honda Civic, which is a global car now this year Honda has designed. So no matter if you're in South America, Japan, the UK, North Pole, or here like in Newfoundland, we are the Honda Civic. It's going to look the same in your area. So all new redesign. Colin, what do you think?
I love it. It resembles a bit of a baby Accord, definitely toned down a bit, but I really like the way that Honda went with this 11th generation Civic.
Yeah, so usually I do reviews by myself, but I brought Colin along with me today because he owns a past generation Honda Civic. So it'd be great to get his insight on how he feels. Now, in saying that, as soon as we hopped in the car, the first thing we both noticed, and especially him owning a last generation, is that the interior is completely redesigned and almost nothing like we've seen before in other brands. So starting off this review, we're gonna hop inside the brand new Civic and start off our review inside. Let's go. All right, inside the 2022, you hear the nice chime that it welcomes you with. Yeah, so what do you think?
I really like it. It's so much more upscale than the 10th generation Civic. Like just sitting in the seats on the previous generation, the Civic had leather insert interiors on the touring trim. This is fully leather. It's bolstered well. It feels a lot more comfortable than my Civic. Of course, up here we have a brand new vent system, kind of the honeycomb vent grille.
I like it. It's definitely different and eye-catching, but I would not want to clean it.
No, I do not want to clean it at all, but it definitely is. I've never seen it before on another car, especially in this class.
Yeah, I like how they stretch it right across too. It's not just like a section of it, it's right across. It really gives you that modern look and feel for it, for sure.
No, for sure. And I like this material here. You're not going to get any fingerprints on this.
Yeah, they got rid of the piano black. There's a little bit up here for fingerprints, but like you're not going to touch
and I'm not
up there by the vent too much. But like the getting rid of it down here is a really smart option.
Yeah, and I'm not too worried about the stuff up here. Like ideally, you know, Honda does a great job with their buttons. So the only thing you're really going to be touching up here is the buttons anyway. And you do get a really good sounding click when you're turning the temperature gauges.
It definitely gives you like a secured that you're actually,
you know, you're on a specific actual temperature. When
now I will say though, on the touring here, it's all screen, so nothing actually lights up besides your in-ear, your front, your rear, AC and stuff like that. But everything else is light up, so the car has to actually be on to see anything on your center dash, which is kind of nice and clean looking for sure. And on touring trim, we also get a wireless charger with some storage up front, which is awesome.
Yep, absolutely. Honda's known pretty well for its storage, so
you know, sizable glove box.
Pretty sizable glove box here. We can fit a couple of our water bottles in there.
No problem.
No
and
sweat.
You got a little tray for your change and stuff that can go right on top of it. No problem.
Absolutely.
Great.
So we got our drive modes here as well. So we have normal, econ, and sport mode. One thing I did notice here, so the sport mode is actually in the drive modes. On the previous generation, you did have the S on the actual gear shift itself, not anymore, of course.
And Econ don't have a button anymore either, which is typical for Honda, but it's actually in your drive modes as well. And they also give you the start-stop button that you can turn off and on, which a lot of manufacturers don't do, but I'm glad that they give it to you because I don't like that feature personally.
No, me neither.
Yeah. Beyond that, I really like the simple design layout here. I like how the honeycomb grille is not just a touring model, it is on all the models, so you feel like you get a little bit of a, you don't get downgraded if you go lower in trim, by no means at all. Now, the leather seats obviously are for the touring trim. The upper seats are also very comfortable on the other ones that we've had out. Moving on to the steering wheel here, which like feels really nice.
A good job on the
steering wheel. It's nice. It has a nice thumb holding positions here. Weird thing to note though, that the heated steering wheel button is on the steering wheel, which I like, but it's kind of down low in that third
I've never
spike.
seen a car put it there.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. They have room for it in other places on the wheel, but they chose it there in a big button, which I mean, you can't miss it, which is great, but it's kind of a different placement for sure.
Yeah. Standard on the Civic, we get the adaptive cruise control. We don't have the Honda lane watch system anymore. We actually have normal blind spot detection.
That lights up in your mirrors.
Lane keep assist as well. And Honda's lane keep is pretty good. I gotta say, even on the 2021 that I drive right now, I'm pretty comfortable driving that on the highway. Even if I gotta take a slight turn, the car will usually take the turn itself. So Honda does a pretty good job with the lane keep itself. I would assume when we get this out on the road, it's gonna be a little bit more refined. So I'm excited to see if there's any real big difference there.
Yeah. We do have keyless entry and remote start on the Touring here as well. The key fob's all redesigned. It's nice and thin. It's
smaller.
It's a lot smaller. It's a good weight too. Like, it doesn't feel like it's plastic. It feels really nice and small in your hand, which is great when you got multiple keys on your keychain. And we do have a push button start up just behind our steering wheel there.
It's
not down.
It's angled a little bit more differently than previous generations too, which I like, because it's not. It's out of the way, because it's.
And it blends in with that piano black too.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Overall, I like the new interior.
I like the simplicity of it, but it also has that modern touch that you need for 2021. Like, Honda does a great job giving you all these buttons that a lot of manufacturers won't actually give you.
Yeah,
so you have simplicity with this, as well as a bit more of a luxury feel, of course, on the Touring trim.
Yeah, and also to note, you got 2 auto down windows and auto up windows on your driver and passenger side, which is a huge convenience when you're going through drive-thrus and stuff like that. I love the auto window option. Now, you don't get it on your side, but I get it on the driver's side, which is great. But yeah, no, I really like the redesign. The honeycomb grille, when they first launched it, I thought it grabbed attention right away because it is a different design look. It feels good. It doesn't feel like all the touch points in here feel actually really nice for really a comic kind of sedan that you can buy, and that is the leading car in Canada to buy, and I can see why. And I think they did a really good job with what they did with this redesign for sure.
23 years in a row is the best-selling compact sedan, and you can really see why here. It's simple, it's economical, it has that little bit of sporty drive that you'd love to have in an affordable car. Yeah, so I'm really excited to get it out on the road and see what it's all about.
Yeah. All right, so infotainment wise, what do we have up front here?
So up front we have a 10-inch brand new redesign from Honda. Very responsive, much better than last generation's infotainment. Last generation's was a little bit laggy in almost all areas. This seems to be much more refined. We have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on the Touring trim. Seems to work perfectly fine. Pretty simple to connect. I know some manufacturers have some issues.
Like how the screen is full size too.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That's great for Apple CarPlay and stuff.
Yeah,
big icons.
And we got a good navigation here. We'll see how the responsiveness is when it loads up.
Well, this load up, not bad. Yeah.
Yep. So it's
nice, easy, quick to load. Pinch zoom. Multi-touch display fills up the whole screen, which is great. Yep, seems pretty good. I like the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and as Colin plays some music here now for us, we do have a 12-speaker premium Bose sound system in here with a subwoofer on the Touring trim, which is fantastic sound.
It's the first time Honda's actually done that too.
Yeah,
so it's a good step in the right direction, especially when all of their competition's been doing that for a couple of years now.
For sure. Now, it is only found on the Touring trim, so it is the top trim that you find on, which is expected. That's from all manufacturers. But if you're looking at the Touring trim with the other features and stuff you get with it, it's a nice add-on that you get that premium sound. Built in with the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is wireless with your wireless charger and stuff. I also like that the screen, 9 inches, of course, has a little curvature around, fills up the whole screen. But on the side, we actually have tactile buttons on the screen, so they're not passive touch buttons or anything like that. We have an actual knob for our volume, home button, back button, skip, track forward and back. I'm glad that they gave us the buttons, and the tactile buttons matches down below with AC and stuff. I'm a big fan of tactile stuff because it makes it simple.
Yeah, no, and again, I'm going to go back to Honda keeping things simple and easy to use. Like, again, you walk into this cabin and there's not much of a learning curve. Like, the buttons are pretty straightforward. Left to go a little bit cooler, right to warm it up. There's a dedicated button for your heated seats
with 3 levels
levels of heat.
Yeah.
Overall, like, Fantastic
Nothing's
design.
hidden is what I like. None of your settings are hidden in the I/O. Everything is right where you need for simplicity. It's easy, like you said, when someone gets in this car, there's no learning curve to it. Like someone who has been driving their whole life can get in this car and feel comfortable in it. Someone who's brand new to driving can get in the Civic and once again feel absolutely comfortable at home.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not a hard learning curve, and everything's memory touch. It's within your reach. It's a great design and interior for simplicity, but yet leveling it up to the modern 2022 generation going forward for sure. Now the honeycomb grille we mentioned already. Once again, super easy to use.
Yeah,
literally
for
just
sure.
little toggles.
You hear the little clicks when they're kind of centered in place.
Yep. So
but again, super easy to use.
Down point. You can point. What I like about it is that I'm always finicking with my vents to get the exact AC on my face. What I found about this is that with these toggles and the silver, you literally just point the toggle right at yourself and the air comes right at you. There's none of this trying to get that little
there's no
square,
in between.
You're trying to feel it out. Like you can literally just point that silver right at you. It's almost like a target right at you, and that's super convenient when you're just setting AC. It's a smart design. Like I said before though, I did not want to clean all these little holes over time.
But it looks good.
It looks good.
It looks really, really good. And and again, it's Honda doing a good job of just simplifying, not overcomplicating the dash. Like this is a different design. I've never seen anyone else kind of do this. But it's simple, it's modern, it's the right direction. Good job, Honda.
For sure. Like vents always got to go in cars, and I always like to look how vents are designed, because it's kind of just a hole that you got to put into your dash. But I really like how Honda streamlined it right across and made it part of the dash. Even though all this space here you can clearly see is not vent space at all. You got one over on your side, one here, and two for the drivers. And they continue it over past the steering wheels here as well, so that you get that seamless right across, and it just hides the vents into the dash completely. Like it's not a cutout or anything like that. It just seems like it's part of the dash layout for sure. So I really like it. Beyond that, now let's dive into the digital dash that we also have that Honda gave us on this Touring, which is fully customizable. So let's have a look right there. So along with our 9-inch infotainment screen up front with awesome technology, we also have a full 10-inch digital dash in front as well with awesome technology and features too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's really interesting to see. So we have our Apple Maps actually connected right now. Wirelessly, which is good. But it's coming up here on the digital dash. So when we're going through our directions, it's saying where exactly we need to go. I actually haven't seen that on a car in this class, so definitely very interesting. So we can have lots of options here. I find this really interesting too. So this actually shows who actually has their seatbelt on in the car. Again, something I haven't seen in a car in this class.
We're parked up, so we don't have ours on right now. That's why. Too. As you can see, 2 red X's. And if I do actually go and put mine on, it's pretty cool. Check mark. Yeah. So we're good to go.
So if we have passengers as well, so it'll register obviously when there's someone sitting in the back. And when the seatbelt connects, it turns green.
Great safety feature, especially if you got kids in the back that don't want to wear their seatbelt and you're not sure if they are or not.
Absolutely. So we also have our oil life here, our safety support, and in the customized display, we can actually go in here and change our gauges up a little bit. So right now we have a bit of a rounded design, but we can go from round to bar. And of course, this is a bit of a preference. So
yeah, for sure. I'm a round.
Yeah, me too.
I like the traditional look of it. Now that is cool. It is definitely very cool.
Yeah, and again, I think it's just cool that Honda just gives you this option.
And also, it's cool you get all the information on that side of the dash as well. But you also have a toggle on this side. You can change even more stuff over here as well. So this is where all our infotainment lives. So we got our radio commands, our satellite radio, USB, Bluetooth, and what I really like is that you can see your Apple CarPlay in the screen itself as well. So if you're playing any music, you can skip along and you can see it in your center screen. You don't actually have to look at the infotainment screen at all, which is a nice integration. I really like the full integration with the maps, the music, and all that. The other cool really animation that they have is when you turn on lane keep assist.
Yeah, I love this.
So you turn on lane keep assist on your wheel,
a little Honda Civic
pops up. And the really cool thing is if you hit the brake, the brake light comes on. Hit the blinker, look at that.
I just want to see if I open the door, will the door open, I wonder?
I don't think so.
It doesn't, but
it does tell you on that side with a cool animation. And I like how you could tell that's a 2022 Civic. Like they modeled the car
Yeah.
perfectly to that. It's really cool. The brake lights come on. We put on our hazards. Pretty cool little animation. I guess it's kind of like a little Easter egg. It only happens when you turn on the lane keep assist. You turn it off, it disappears again.
But still really cool.
Pretty cool.
Nice little thing to
nice
add.
little feature. I will say the screen is nice and bright. I can easily see all the information on it in sunlight and whatnot. And
I
it's
really
clear
like that
animation.
safety feature with the seat belts.
The seat belts is a cool, simple feature that
It is.
like really. It's simple, but
So
like it works.
You people who don't like wearing your seatbelt, we know.
We know
We now
exactly
know.
where you're sat to now. We know. You behind the driver in the middle row.
Yeah.
You don't have your seatbelt on.
We gotcha.
We got you. It's a nice little system. Like I said, especially if you got kids in the back who might unlatch their seatbelt and you don't notice and stuff like that. It will give you that little warning so that you know that everybody's safe in your car when you're driving, which is nice and ties into once again Honda's simple but safety design. It's great for first-time drivers or
Anyone in particular.
Anyone. It's a great little safety feature. More safety features, the better. We also got a temperature gauge up front as well on your digital dash, which I really like to have instead of having it on the screen like some manufacturers do. At least you can see it for a quick glance right in front of you as you're driving. Overall, I really like it. And we still have our fuel and our engine temperature off to the side on little LED lights, flanking both sides of the screen there. Easy, clear to read. But yeah, overall, I really like the digital dash that they put in this. It's simple, clean. It's Honda.
Absolutely.
For sure.
No, that's cool. Let's hop out and see what's powering this 2022 Civic.
All right, so engine, Colin, what do we have in this unit?
Cool. So on this Touring trim, we have a 1.5 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, putting out 180 horsepower and 177 pound-feet of torque, compared to a CVT.
Now I gotta admit, there's no hydraulic trunk lift, hood lift, but that's fine because you're not gonna really open the engine bay too much.
No, I don't think any really classic car has it in this.
No.
So the engine is actually paired to a CVT, and there is no manual in the sedan. You'll have to wait for the hatchback to actually get a manual transmission.
Which is coming.
Which is coming, yep. But on the base engine, we get the 2-liter 4-cylinder, putting out 158 horsepower and 138 pound-feet of torque. Fuel economy is a little bit better. It's still very, very strong. Honda does a great job keeping everything so economical. So on this Touring trim, we have 33 mpgs in the city and 42 on the highway.
Which is fantastic.
Very good. Yeah, very, very good. And on the base trim with the 2-liter engine, we get 31 on the highway, 31 in the city and 40 on the highway.
So still really good. We're up over the 30 mark for our MPG, which is great for a car of its size with the room inside and the
absolutely.
subcompact. It's right in class with the segment, if not leading, for sure.
It's a little bit weird now not to see an engine cover now. If I'm
Yeah,
being honest, like
there's-
most cars now, you're going to see an engine cover, but
no, Honda just
chose
lets you-
not to. They're just saying, here's all the hoses.
You can see the
and here's
pistons,
everything.
you can see everything pretty much. There's no hiding of anything in the engine, which is, like I said, it's different, but it's an engine.
Yeah.
Don't think many people who own the Honda Civics are really going to pop their hood too much, but there's the specs of this, made it to CVT.
And this engine is also turbocharged. I forgot to mention that. So on the Touring trim, we do get the turbocharger.
Yeah.
On the base trim, we do not.
Yeah, so this one gets you a little bit more oomph with that turbocharger, which is great. So obviously the Touring trim is the top spec. You get the leather seats, the upgraded infotainment, the wireless CarPlay, and you get the upgraded engine sound system. So it is the top trim, but I'm glad that Honda has differentiated it from the other trims, including with the engine, not just your interior specs.
Yeah,
you do
absolutely.
get an actual different feel and more horsepower, more torque from that 1.5 liter when you get the Touring option for sure.
Cool.
So let's close this up and let's talk about this outside exterior, all brand new for the 2022 model year.
Yeah, let's talk about the looks.
Yeah, so what do you think?
First thing I see is a baby Accord, which is not a bad thing. The Accord's a great looking car.
For sure.
Standard LED headlights comes now on all Civics, so
Yep.
even people buying the base model are still gonna get the LED headlights up front.
Which is great for your visibility for sure.
Yep, on the Touring trim down here, we have our fog lights. One thing I also do want to note, there's a lot less fake vents. There are fake vents still on this Honda Civic, but it's a lot less. Honda's really toned it down, went a little bit less from a more mature look from the more juvenile look from the 10th generation. So
for sure, it's a lot more modern.
Yeah,
it's mature, like you said. It's much more mature. Daytime running lights, I like how they swoop in, swoop down. It looks really nice when you're driving down the road. The big unibrow look here really pulls the whole car forward. Really aggressive look, like how there's line cuts underneath right here,
and even up on the hood, good lines going up.
Very nice lines. Now this color looks
I love this. Is my favorite Honda color. I
really
wish
nice.
More manufacturers use a color similar like this. I know Subaru kind of has something like it, but
I like it's just matte. It's like got a little shine, but it's matte, and it's great. It's a beautiful color.
It's a head turner.
It works for this.
It
really works. Like the Sonic Gray really works for this car. Obviously, it's an added price to get that color, but I mean, it's a price that I would add because
I'm gonna come over on your side. So on your side, we got, from the wheel perspective, we got 18-inch wheels, aluminum alloy with
on the Touring
spoke on the Touring. So on the base models, we have a 16-inch
with different designs. Now the Touring design, I like. It has that little bit.
I do too. You look
chrome
at it
with
first,
a little bit of black.
You look at it first, it kind of looks like a 5-spoke, but then you actually have to look a little bit closer, and you got this little bit of a darker alloy material here to show the actual 10 spokes in it, which
I really like, and it ties nicely.
Honda does
with
a good job with their wheels.
Yeah, they do.
Honda does a really good job with their
color.
wheels.
It's really nice. So overall, I mean, it's up to suggestion. Everybody has their opinions on what cars look like. New generation here, definitely toned down, more mature, but I like it. It's growing on me more in person than it did in the photos, for sure. It's a car that you have to see in person to really get, and this color really, like I said, sets it off for sure. I like the black trimming. There's no real chrome up front on this unit besides a little bit in the headlights and the Honda badge.
It's a lot more mature, like you said. Like it's the 10th generation had a little bit more of a juvenile look, but I really think this.
But I think
this fits.
This fits.
Today.
This fits for any age group that you're in, that you fit. Like it can work for the young person who's getting in, who wants a sporty look, because you can definitely make this look sporty. I'm excited to see what the Type R kind of comes out and looks like. But if you want it also just subdued, city hauler, I mean, it looks great for that as well.
And absolutely, and even on the sport trim too. So these wheels, you still get the 18-inch wheels on the sport trim, but you actually also get blacked out rims as well. So that also just adds to it. And you also have blackout pieces on the front and the mirrors as well,
which is great. So that's the front and most of the
sides.
So the sides are
a little bit more of a European design. You can definitely see they're taking some styling cues from some European competitors.
I like the mirror color match to our paint here on this Touring trim, which is nice. We have the indicator built in as well. And on the passenger side, like you mentioned before, we actually have just normal blind spot. There's no Honda Sense camera there anymore, so it's a nice fluid now design. You don't have that camera there.
So from the sunroof perspective, EX and up, you'll get the sunroof as well. So that's been pretty standard on Honda for the couple last generations, but definitely a good feature. I
like how we have the shark fin antenna here, really ties in that sporty look. We don't have just a little antenna sticking off. Nice. So yeah, if we move down towards the rear of the new Civic here, simple again, like the front, it's toned down for sure.
Touring badge here on the right side.
More chrome back here, I find a little bit more chrome. We got our sensors here back as well, but it's
common on the Touring trim.
It's very all painted the same color. It's very simple back here. One thing I will note is that it does have dual exhausts, but they're hidden underneath the bodywork.
On the Sport, you'll actually get a single exhaust,
which is good because I want to see it on the Sport. Of course. So it's great to hide away with the fluid body lines here that they got.
I do like the tail lights.
They
moved away from kind of the crab claw appearance from the last generation.
Much more simple. We have our reverse light here in it with our turn signal and our daytime running lights as well with the brake lights. Really nice. We do have our center brake light in the window, so it's nothing on the back here. Nice and clean. Overall, I like the back. It's simple. It's simple. It's nice. Still gives it that little sporty look. In terms of trunk space that we have in here,
let's check it out.
So we have a few things in there already, camera equipment and stuff.
Yeah, so there's no problem fitting any of the camera equipment that we have brought with us today. Spec-wise, we have 14 cubic inches of space here, which is pretty similar to the last generation, but again, this is where Honda really...
gives you a little bit more than last generation, I think.
A little bit more than the last generation, but yeah, this is where Honda really knocked it out of the park. Like, you can fit a lot of stuff in this. Like, this is close to a Camry. I know a Camry is about 14.8 15.
Yeah.
So we're
there.
This is a compact sedan.
What could you fit in yours? Say.
I have 2 baseball bags that I can fit in here, and I can also fit a small golf bag.
So I mean, that's pretty good for a small compact car, as they put it, like, for a space. We also have 60/40 seats to even give you more room if you got nowhere in the back seats.
Yeah, you simply
and super simple. You just pull these 2 toggles and you push them forward,
seats,
and they are down. So you got more room to even store more stuff in there. The load space here is a little tight, but I mean, there's no trouble to get stuff in there. This opens nice and wide.
It's deep.
It's deep. It's good. We also have the rubber matting down below, so if your car does get dirty, you put some stuff in there that's a little bit dirty, you can just take out the whole mat later and clean that, and you don't get your carpets dirty, which is a great little add-on feature for sure. But great trunk space, lots of storage for the size of the car it is. So Honda always does a great job with that.
Yeah.
So Honda's always been famous for their sporty ride, even with their normal subcompact vehicles for sure. And this one's no different. It has the struts up front for suspension, multi-link in the back to give you a really nice handling feel. For sure, we have 4 disc brakes all around on this touring trim. So the last thing now to do is take it on the road and see how it feels.
I'm driving first. All right, so driving the new 2022 Honda Civic. You can definitely feel the quality that Honda has added to this vehicle. The handling, the suspension, everything is finely tuned for this type of car. The wheel feels fantastic. Honda does a great job with their steering wheels. Road noise is pretty minimal, pretty similar to last generation, might be a little bit better.
The 2022 Honda Civic, and I love it. Like, I mean, guys, it is a fun little car to whip around town on. It's super quiet in here. The steering wheel feels fantastic. It's nicely even weighted. It's comfortable, and these seats hug you nicely.
CVT transmission has a little bit of pep in this touring trim with 180 horsepower, as mentioned previously. So yeah, it's a great, you know, commuter car, but again, it's going to have that little bit of pep that you know, is going to beat the competition for sure.
So I'm on a straight road here. Let's see how quick we can get them go. And there's 70 right there. So not too bad from a standing start. It's pretty good, and I did that in eco mode. So I mean, definitely has enough power to get you up on the go on the highway and get around town without any issues whatsoever.
There's like no road noise to this. You can hear a bit of the CVT, but this is such a smooth ride. Honda, I think, has accomplished exactly what it needed to do with the small refinements that it needed to kind of improve from the previous generation. So handling and suspension probably similar to last generation Civic. So Honda does a fantastic job with that. But again, just adding the extra perks with the infotainment and a couple added comfort features. Again, this driving position is great. So we took a long drive out here to do this review, and I can definitely see myself, you know, taking this car all the way back to our home destination. It's comfortable, it's quick, it's a Honda Civic.
The digital dash up front's easy to read, give me all the information I want, and it's fully customizable like we've shown before. So it's a great little layout here. Everything's within my reach. The screen is nice and bright and up high, doesn't obstruct my view. Talking about view, the visibility in here is fantastic. Honda's done a great job. Really tiny pillars here, so you don't really have a blind spot there. We do have our blind spot monitoring on this touring model, which comes standard across the whole range, which is fantastic. But visibility is great out the back. I can see no problem. For driving it, guys, I thoroughly enjoy it. No trouble with road trips. Zipping around town, it's confident when you're driving behind the wheel. You feel solid as I go back and forth here. It is a solid kit to have in your driveway for sure. So definitely recommend coming in test driving it. So Colin's left to himself there now, waiting for me to get back, and honestly I don't know if I want to go back because I'm having a little bit too much fun. So yeah, I guess we'll have to head back now and pick up Colin because he's waiting for us. So let's head back and pick him up. I really like it.
Me too.
Yeah. I think Honda hit all the right things with this new refresh generation and sticking to the Civic name of being practical, simple, fun. I mean,
Home
awesome.
run.
So home run for sure. Let's go for another drive.
Let's do it.